Welcome back to the Amateur Footy Show, grassroots, brought to us by West End. Special guest Gino, the president of Amateur Footy, in with us, and of course the other host, Gary McIntosh. Going to get across this weekend's games. Supple of beauties. Let's start with you first, Macca. Henley up against Salisbury North at Henley Memorial.
Oh, look, Henley, last year's grand final winners. Terrific side. Change of coach, but it seemed to be doing really well, except, got beaten by Gazer in round one, but I think you'll see them motor along.
All right, the Sharks are just being a bit quiet early. Are they going to come with the wind behind them? Gina, how do you see it?
Oh, look, the head says Henley are certainly the side, but I'd like to see Salisbury North do it. Being a Northern Suburbs club, whilst when I played against them I didn't like them, I certainly want them to win now, and know most of the boys down there. And they're a small side, very quick, good skills. And I expect them to give Henley a bit of a shake, and if Henley are not on their game, don't be surprised. Now, Salisbury North have lost their first two and only just, so this one don't be surprised.
All right, Goody Saints up against Jeps Cross at Goody Oval. Matty Ullman, of course, a Goody Saints man, so I follow them a little bit. They've been pretty solid for a long time, the Goody Saints. Can you see Jeps Cross getting over them?
Look, Goody Saints are a good club and a good team, and they do it well. But again, I've got to go with Jeps. My son plays there, my son-in-law plays there, and so I'm showing my bias. But look, again, it's at the Goody Saints ground. If everything goes right for Jeps, again, I think they'll sneak that one. It'll be a close game.
The president can't put any influence into the game in any form.
No, that's
you don't select the umpires, or
No, unfortunately I can't. Much as you'd like to, but you can't.
Macca, Goody Saints.
We played Goody Saints in a trial game this year and got spanked by 18 goals. I think Goody Saints are a little bit better, or a lot better than what they were last year. So
are they angry about last year? I mean, they were tipped to be around the mark.
I have no doubt.
They're carrying that torch.
It's probably lit the flame again in a few blokes that were probably just waning a little bit after winning so many, if you can never get sick of winning. But no, look, Goody Saints are a very good unit, and Greg Anderson's had a rough indictment into the comp so far, and he'll get another rough one this weekend.
The first win first up, didn't he have a one-pointer in his first game?
Yes, first game. I was at that one,
win. Yep.
17 seconds to go, they snuck that one. And a bit unlucky last week, but I got a bit of faith in Greg. I've watched him coach, and I think he's got the boys on side. So Trent Mills is a very good coach, and I do like Trent and the way he coaches and approaches the game. And again, the heart is going that I'd love to see the boys at Jeps to have that win.
You look like an intelligent man, a lot of faith in Greg Anderson. You're starting to fall away with that comment. Anyway, we'll move on. Foss Camden up against Eastern Park at Camden Oval. Macca, what do you think?
Look, Foss Camden under the weed got their first win, which, is a great thing for the confidence of the team coming up from Division 2. So it'll be a tough game. Eastern Park are always a tough team, and maybe lost a few players in the off-season, Eastern Park, and maybe just a little bit undermanned for Division 1. But time will tell as we go along.
You've seen Weed. You've coached against the Weed. I see him regularly down at Crows training. He's always looking for some new ideas. Has he brought anything different down there to Foss?
Well, he's got them to Division 1, so he's obviously got them on track and playing well. They struggled for a couple of years. We're right on the door, but just couldn't get over that final hurdle, and last year they did. And this may be the beginning of them being Division 1 for a long time.
Eastern Park, Foss Camden, what do you think?
Look, I know the Weed, he's a good guy, and great to see him within Amateur League, especially with his past history. Again, I'd love to see Eastern Park get up there, but as Macca said, they've lost a number of players. Dusty Miller is a good coach, did very well last year for them to win the Div 2s. Certainly Div 1 is a much harder, and as Macca knows, it's so much harder up there, and you need to actually recruit players. Now they've probably lost too many. As much, again, I'd like to see the Northern Suburbs club get up there, but at the same time, I don't mind Weed having a win. All
right, Sacred Heart, they're a bit of a story at the moment. They're dominating in all the grades, aren't they? They're up against Broadview at Sacred Heart Senior College. What's your feeling in this one?
I saw Broadview last week. Again, they were very good. It was a good standard game, and again, but no Sacred Heart for a side that 2 years ago just avoided relegation by a fraction of a percent. Then last year played in the grand final. So then they're going in the right direction. They're putting extra sides in. They've certainly got everything going in their way. Broadies have recruited well. I need to check their point system actually. They probably recruited too many, what I saw last week. But no, they deserved the win last week, and so it'll be another good game. But you've really got to probably say that it looks like Sacred Heart will do the job.
Just before I go to Macca on that, why have Sacred Heart suddenly, from 2 years ago, suddenly becoming a power again in amateur footy? Is it their ability to recruit players that have gone through the school system?
I would say so. They've got a very good system down there, and it's interesting. There are a lot of players are gravitating back to their college clubs, their district clubs. They seem to be getting or enjoying their football more, and maybe that's what Sacred Heart are doing. Sacred Heart do it well down there. And I know most of the people in the administration down there, they're pretty good people, and not saying that Broadies aren't. Yep. Again, they've got good administration, but and that's the secret, I think, for a side to go well. If your administration is right, everything else seems to fall into place.
All right, Macca, how do you see it?
Might be a bit of a downer year for Sacred Heart because they've done a great deal of work to get to where they did last year, and Paul Sandico's gone, and I think it's Tommy Horan's coaching them this year. Yes. I think Broadview last year had a bit of a breakout season back into the comp where they made the finals, and after being back to Division 2, and I think that Darren Windle out there will be doing them a really good job, and I think they'll keep pushing on and be another good finals contender. All
right, Gazer up against Tea Tree Gully at Tea Tree Gully. Gazer have been up and down and all around this season. How have you seen them?
Well, Gazer have been talking up for probably the last 5 or 6 years that they're going to be a force and haven't been able to do it. This year, Chris Radetti returned, which has helped them, greatly. Paul Merritt is probably the fittest he's ever been, and he's been a great SAAFL player. Nathan Granger, who's doing great things with them as a coach, and I think they've recruited pretty well, and they look very strong.
Again, another one of the clubs just on the fringe of the suburb, the metropolitan area or the city area, Gazer, that have recruited very well. I don't know what's up in that. They must be found some money up that way, but they've certainly probably, if you look at all the clubs and the clearances and in and out, Gazer is certainly in front of everybody. They've recruited well. They've beaten the 2 grand finalist sides in the last 2 weeks. And they've done well with that, so you've got to probably say they're going to do it.
All right, just before we go off Divi 1 to Divi 2, any surprise packet this year in Divi 1? Is there a team early that you think, like Essendon have in the AFL, suddenly have jumped up and gone, whoa, I didn't think they were going to be that good?
Oh, it's obviously Gazer at the moment. Gazer. It's got to be Gazer a standout.
They didn't make the finals last year, and just the way they've opened up, they're basically swamping the sides.
All right, get on Gazer then. Divi 2, of course, Port District's up against Prince Alfred at Largs Reserve. What do you think, Gino?
Oh, well, you'd have to say Port District's down there. They are certainly at home, always harder to beat, and especially the oval that they've got, the clubroom side, it's no wings, very narrow, and the other side, the wings go for about 3 wings wide, so the ground, you can do it easy. Prince Alfred, though, you wouldn't want to sell them short. They're a good side. Rocky coaches them well.
So what's holding them back?
No, maybe yes. They lost the grand final, and Peter Carter's never, been pretty upset since that day. But no, they'd like to win down there, but you'd probably have to lean towards Port Districts.
Prince Alfred, big winners over Uni last week. In a bit of a grudge match, I would say, Uni and Prince Alfred. Port Districts, though, have recruited some good ones. Clayton, who will add to them with his experience from Port Adelaide. And I can't see Prince Alfred beating Port Districts on the home ground. Just going back to Division 1, it was interesting to see Murray Hamlin kicking 11 goals last week.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, last week for Goody Saints, and he's a player that's come back from SAAFL and has been with the Goody Saints for probably 4 or 5 years now, I would say.
Do you think his preparation's the same as the leading goal kicker or the bloke who was leading the goal kicking for a while last year?
Drewy Lister.
Drewy Lister, what a great story. I remember Drewy saying he prepared Friday night before the game, 6 pints and a pizza. So
I've actually seen him having those 6 pints.
And a couple of pies before the game starts.
All right. Adelaide University up against Walkerville at Uni Oval. What do you think, Macca?
Walkerville were only beaten by a small margin last week, and they are going to be a pretty good unit this year. And Uni have lost a couple of players. Walsh hurt last week, and McIntyre also. So they're 2 big two players that might hurt their side.
Well, it's always pretty hard with these two, but the old rule in football, if you're not sure, go with the home side. So you've got to go that way. It's certainly going to be a close game, and I guess Walkerville at times claim they've got just as many Uni players playing for them as Uni has. So interested to see. So you've probably got to go that way.
All right, get through these other ones pretty quick. We're going to run out of time before we get to the break. St Peter's up against Athelston.
I don't say St Peter's.
St Peter's.
St Peter's.
First-hand look last week, Spock very good. So
Okay.
Athelston are in for a tough
All
day.
right, Ross Trevor up against Old Iggy's at Campbelltown.
You'd have to go Ross Trevor. I mean, Iggy's, Peter Zollo's done a good job there, but they've moved up a division and they've struggled to recruit. The point system has not allowed them to, and so they have to go Ross Trevor.
This will be a very good game, actually. St Iggy's, we played them round one and they look very good. And Ross Trevor, Timmy Hart's got them going along nicely. It'll be a pretty close game.
All right, Payneham up against Modbury at Payneham Oval.
I'd have to go with Payneham, black and white, good colours, and at Payneham too. That's another one of those funny grounds that no wing on the club side. The other side, she goes over to the playground about 2.5 ovals width.
Yeah, it runs at a funny angle, the old Payneham Oval, which gets a few teams off guard. Oh, look, this is a big game for us. Early games. If you're 1-1. To be 1 and 2 early is not what you're after. So Modbury are looking for their first win. Got a lot of young players, and that can be very dangerous to play against a young group that can come out with a lot of enthusiasm. If you're not in your game, see you later.
All right, a couple of big games in Divi 1, Divi 2 this weekend. Stay with us after the break. Still got some divisions to get through. Want to have a talk about the state team as well? Back in a moment.